Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Telit webinar, How to Maximize IoT Investment Productivity with Practical IoT Billing Solutions. I'm Amanda Flink, the Head of Global Events here at Telit, and I will be moderating our webinar today. Let's get to know our speaker real quick. To explain this topic today, I'm pleased to be joined by Landon Connerty, VP Connectivity Americas at Telit. Now, just before I hand it over to Landon to start our presentation, I have a few quick reminders. I would like to encourage our audience to interact by posting questions. We should have some time at the end to answer some of those. Simply submit a question by posting in the questions box that can be located near the bottom center of your screen. Also, please be sure to check out the resources section for some additional information on our topic today. And finally, we will send out the replay link to all attendees at the conclusion of our webinar. And with that, Landon, I will hand it over to you to kick us off.
Amanda, thank you so much. All right, as we jump into kind of an overview of the IoT market, let's start with a little background for today's discussion and how big is IoT? So if we take a look here, global IoT revenue reached $400 billion in 2020 and will more than double to $900 billion by 2025. What really isn't shown here is that previous forecasting models predicted upwards of $1.1 trillion in revenue on those previous forecasts. That $200 million delta can be linked back to slowing economies in Europe and Asia. Obviously, we had the global supply chain issues, and then, of course, the huge impact of the pandemic. And you can see what that did to the forecasting models here. In terms of device connections, GSMA forecasts 13 billion devices in 2020 and will estimate 24 billion in 2025. Licensed cellular connections were 2.1 billion in 2020, and it estimated to grow to 3.7 billion in 2025. The fastest growing segments over there on the far right, which are those Cat-M and narrowband IoT connections. The LPWA connections are growing from 2 million in 2020 and could reach 1.1 billion by 2025. So some huge growth in that space. All right, the data we see here is from a focus survey from the GSMA, which had about 3,000 respondents. The survey captured results from 2,900 enterprises across 18 countries and 8 verticals. For each of the following, the respondents selected the statement that best described the reason for their IoT deployment. So as we kind of look at some of these trends that you see on the screen here, I'm just going to kind of focus on one or two. I find it really interesting that only 37% of companies have deployments that are considered standalone, while 63% list a transformative initiative. As we can see in the bottom left data, these initiatives are largely being driven by the top. They're coming from the top down. They're being driven by leadership. Now we kind of jump into some data showing how enterprises are measuring IoT success. We can see that in 2020, revenue generation has overtaken cost savings, so that 68% of enterprises measure success in terms of revenue generation, which is just slightly ahead of the cost savings at 65%. Another item to note is just how important regulatory compliance is considered for deployments and how it falls into the top 3 measurables of success. So I find that extremely interesting that made the top 3 and is a huge focus for companies. All right, then we kind of get into some criteria for looking at data plans here. And so we've kind of listed out a pretty extensive list, and I'll kind of compare this to what Telit can provide for you. And so when we kind of look at this, customized data plans for IoT, obviously you need to be able to have data, SMS, and voice in a lot of these different applications. Telit can provide that. We can take that even further. If you need, pool plans or pay per use, or even prepaid, which isn't largely adopted by other MNOs or MVNOs out in this space. You don't see a lot of prepaid. Telit can certainly do that. Then we jump into, can they support 2G, 3G, 4G, LTE? Of course, we can support that and more. 5G solutions, narrowband IoT, Cat-M, you name it, we're certainly able to provide it. And then having coverage on those tier 1 mobile network operators Telit partnered with the biggest investor around the globe to provide that connectivity out to our partners. And then, of course, you want seamless networks and regions. So Telit excels at global deployments, and we certainly can provide various solutions into different regions across the globe. That multi-layer security and VPN connections is something that we also can provide. Telit's backend is geo-redundant, VPN network, and plus 24/7 monitoring and network operations center and support for all those security needs and concerns. And then, of course, we have a simple agreement and predictable pricing along with no hidden fees. So we're very transparent. Everything's right up front in our agreements, easy to see, no hidden costs or fees in those as we present those out to you. And then, of course, 24/7 support. I think this is one of the things that makes Telit unique, especially when you use both our hardware and our connectivity here, is that we can troubleshoot both sides of the solution, right? So we can go down the path and see if the device is having an issue because of the module, or we can go down the path and see if there's actually a network issue, which is pretty unique in this space. Not very many people can offer that. And then last but not least, you look at that integrated cloud-based enablement platform, connecting things to be easy, and we make it so with that solution. All right, then we get into some of the billing items. So what is Telit Optimus? Before I kind of dive into what Optimus is, let me tell you what it isn't. Optimus isn't something our customers have to think about. You don't need to commit any resources to move rate plans around a few times a month like you do with carriers. We aren't performing these calculations manually using spreadsheets like some of the other IoT-focused MVNOs in this space. Telit is harnessing the true power of artificial intelligence to reduce your monthly connectivity spend and give time back to your team. Super important there is that you don't need to go spend any resources here to use our Telit Optimus product, and I'll kind of get into some more of the details in the next few slides. All right. So how does Optimus work and what will it do for you? Well, you can start with simple activations where you don't even have to select a rate plan. Don't worry, we'll do that for you at the end of the month when we right size the plans based on the actual usage. We'll push each SIM to the right size rate plan, whether it uses 1 megabyte, 25 megabytes, or something in between. It doesn't necessarily matter what the actual SIM consumes. We're going to do those calculations for you at the end of the month. We'll do this for you every month on your behalf without the need for any interactions from your team. Telit removes that operational overhead and automates the process. I can't say it enough. It's super simple. Set it and forget it. The Telit Optimus solution is a time saver and frees up resources. All right. We get into a few of our use cases here. We've got SXT. So SXT's product is the Blue Note Cloud. It delivers a consistent experience that enables patients with obstructive sleep apnea to breathe and sleep easier. Telit's Optimus helped expand SXT's products into other European markets by freeing up the resources that they would have spent time managing their connectivity. So we gave them their people back and allowed them to focus on other tasks. So when we look at the SXT solution, we find artificial intelligence and machine learning is providing clinicians with powerful new tools for identifying optimal therapy. However, it's cost prohibitive to build the sophisticated CPAP ventilator. That's why SXT developed a solution that enables the machine learning to reside in the cloud instead, and that's kind of where Telit comes in. So we provided the reliable connectivity, which is critical for ensuring the CPAP ventilators can upload their data to the cloud. It received changes such as pressure configurations or diagnostics. Many patients don't have broadband resources in their home, so SXT needed an alternative network technology that's available everywhere. Cellular was the obvious choice, and so was Telit. The Telit module is available with services that reduce cost and complexity, including that Optimus feature. Telit Optimus service analyzes the module's data usage each month to identify the most cost-effective rate plan, then automatically applies it retroactively at the end of the month to provide maximum savings. These functions also free SXT to focus on expanding BlueNote Cloud to additional European markets and developing other innovative solutions instead of manually comparing and changing rate plans every single month. All right. Jump over to our next use case, and iSeal. So iSeal, to meet their goals of designing a discrete and internationally compatible solution, iSeal really needed an IoT partner with the experience and technology available to meet their demands. Telit's robust hardware portfolio in collaboration with Paragon Innovations brought the combination of size, battery life, global compatibility, and power to make this hardware design a reality. Telit brokers the connectivity for this solution and for our customers around the world, with 580 operators in more than 200 countries represented to date. The global connectivity paired with our Optimus billing solution created the perfect partnership with iSeal. It gave them confidence that no matter where they deployed worldwide, they would never have to worry about their monthly invoice. Great use case with the iSeal folks. Now let's take some bricks that kind of build the story of the Telit connectivity proposal. So we have a single SIM solution with an adaptive profile, several MD sponsors that are being updated constantly, and by that, upgrades the connectivity proposals for our customers as well. By continually leveraging our MZ sponsors, we have the ability to stay aligned with our consumers at all times. We support IoT and broadband relevant technologies such as LTE, CAM, narrowband, 5G, and legacy technologies worldwide. And we're using the enhanced footprint of our roaming partners with vast regional and global plans to supply a cost-effective solution with the best possible coverage. Again, supporting the low power and broadband technologies here. Another important item is using our edge solution, SimWise, the IUCC embedded connectivity software SIM that seats right at the sweet spot for utilizing a true lifecycle device with impressive durability, lower total cost of ownership, streamlined operations, and overall low profile footprint on the actual module. And let's jump to the next one. All right. Telit is one of the few MNOs who can truly offer the entire suite of SIM options to our customers. We have the standard commercial grade SIMs, obviously 2FF, 3FF, 4FF, no issues there, along with the high temp industrial versions. Both are super common, no issues there. We have the UICC capability where we can load multiple carrier profiles onto a single SIM. We also have our IUICC solution, which allows you to forego the traditional physical SIM by integrating the SIM right into the Telit module. The IUCC functions as a traditional SIM, or it can be combined with an actual physical SIM to create a cost savings and space saving dual SIM solution. So there's a large amount of flexibility with this format. And then lastly, we can certainly meet the needs and the demands for MFF2 and WLCSP formats of SIMs. As we kind of dig deeper into the Telit connectivity offering, you'll find that Telit can deliver multiple SIM technologies, including EUICC, IUICC, and multi-MZ solutions, along with their traditional cellular connections through our MNO partners. We bring that all under a single pane of glass with our connectivity management platform, which utilizes a secure network infrastructure. And our interconnected hardware and connectivity support teams kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, how we can support both the module and the cellular connectivity through our support, and an outstanding account management along with Optimus for billing, and you have an unparalleled connectivity solution. All right, as we kind of near the end of our presentation today, we'll take a quick look at the flow of data from connected devices deployed out in the field on the far left to one of our many MNO partners there in the middle. We continued the journey where we land on the Telit infrastructure there in the middle of the page before pushing out to the Telit platform on the far right. And this just kind of highlights just a high-level overview of kind of how that data flows from your solution back to our portal or out to your platforms. And those are available via API as well. So all that information that's found in our portal also available via API. All right, we discussed, there we go, there it goes. All right, we discussed Optimus, the Telit network, our SIM options, and global connectivity solutions, but now we transition to scalability, security, and connectivity management, right? Telit has full end-to-end control of our IoT network with full geo-redundancy on-premise and in the cloud. This is super important because you don't always get the type of redundancy with some of the newer MVNOs out there. It seems like every day we've got a new MVNO that's popping into the space, and a lot of times their security and their scalability just really aren't there. We can continue to secure your solution with the VPN or active or a private APN, and have a whole host of smart security solutions we use to protect the network. Our connectivity management platform has a full set of monitoring analytics solutions that provide useful insights for your deployments. And I think I've mentioned this once or twice today, but Optimus, it's a true game changer for your billing and operations team. It might not change your life, but it will change your invoice. And then I think we're almost at the end here. One last slide before we jump into a few questions. And there we go. All right. When we look at how to maximize your IoT investments and productivity, it's clear to me that Telit offers an unparalleled offering. Telit stands alone in our ability to offer global connectivity, advanced SIM technologies with the EU ICC and IUC SIM options. There's not a lot of folks out there that are offering those types of solutions today. And then, of course, our interconnected hardware and connectivity support teams. I've touched on this a few times. I can't tell you how valuable it is to have both of those support organizations under one roof. You don't have to chase folks or have your connectivity point at your hardware and your hardware point back at your connectivity. We do it all in-house and can help you, resolve those connectivity issues. Of course, we offer permanent roaming solutions that's in a wide variety of countries globally. And then you can't overlook our set it and forget it billing solution, Optimus, which will right-size your rate plans month after month without any interactions from our customers. If you haven't tested Telit connectivity, now's the time to find out more and how we can help future-proof your global IoT connectivity, decrease your monthly cellular spend, and free up your internal resources to focus downstream at your customers. Thank you very much for attending today. I'll kick it back over to you, Amanda.
Great, thanks, Landon. Now, before we get to the questions real quick, audience, I am going to drop a poll on your screen. If you'd like to have one of our experts contact you, please just respond here on the poll, and we'll be sure to have someone reach out to you directly. Landon, it looks like we've gotten just a few questions during your presentation here, so let's just dive right in. The first question I've got, where can you provide connectivity and what regions or countries do you specialize in?
Yeah, good question. Let's see. I wouldn't say that we specialize in any region or specific country, but we do excel at providing global connectivity. I mean, we've got solutions that can really allow companies to deploy from all across the globe. We reach most of the world. Of course, there are a few problematic countries that I think everybody struggles with. Obviously, no one's offering a ton of connectivity in North Korea or places like that, but when you look at the rest of the globe and those countries that are, people are actively pursuing, we do have a connection solution there. We also have a new solution that we're launching here in the U.S. That really is unmatched with its capabilities. It's not the right time or forum to take a deep dive into that, but we'll certainly be out there speaking to it with our partners here in the future. It's been really impressive so far. Good question. Thanks, Amanda.
Yep. Next one I've got, and I know you touched on this a bit, but maybe you can give us like the super high level version here. How does Optimus really work? I guess maybe in simple terms. Yeah.
So to really simplify it, our customers aren't picking a bunch of different rate plans. You might have one rate plan on your account, or you might have a dozen. But when your team goes to activate, all they're doing is selecting Optimus. So in the most simple terms, it's set it and forget it. Once you've done that activation, there's no need to move it. There's no need to go back and check on it. It simply will move to the right rate plan based on the amount of usage that's incurred. We still have resources and tools to monitor threshold alerts and barring and whatnot. But, if a SIM were to get wildly out of control, but for most standard use cases or most, monthly deployments, I think you're going to see is just a simple set it, forget it, deploy it, and walk away. It just works. So.
Great, thanks. Next question I have gotten, what is the main advantage of Telit's solution against other IoT MVNOs or MNOs?
Yeah, look, I think that we can touch every aspect of an IoT project, whether it's, using our world-class modules or matching that up with, one of our connectivity solutions, even dive into or even touch on our OneEdge solution, which is kind of a lightweight machine-to-machine protocol, communication protocol that we use in its most simplest forms. You provide FOTA for free to those partners that use our modules. You don't even, and it pairs really nicely with Telit connectivity. So it's kind of the third pillar in what we provide here at Telit, the hardware, the connectivity, and our OneEdge, that lightweight management. But I think being able to touch all aspects of an IoT deployment, from the hardware all the way to the connectivity and then controlling it downstream is where we really excel. So I hope that answers their question.
Yeah, thanks, Landon. Guys, I believe that's all the time we have for today. We're keeping this one nice and short and sweet here. Please be sure to check your inboxes in the coming days for that replay link. Thank you, Landon, so much for your time today, and thanks to all who joined us.